I never used to believe in ghosts or anything paranormal. My rational mind always dismissed those eerie tales as figments of an overactive imagination. But that was before that fateful night when I was left alone in our old Victorian house. It was a night I would never forget. A night that shattered my skepticism and filled my world with unending terror. The evening began like any other. My parents were out of town for a weekend trip, leaving me alone in the creaky old house that had been in our family for generations. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows and sending chills down my spine. I tried to distract myself, burying my head in a book, but the eerie silence that engulfed the house was suffocating. As the clock struck midnight, strange noises started echoing through the corridors. At first, I attributed them to the old age of the house, but the sounds grew louder and more distinct, like whispers creeping through the walls. I dismissed them as my imagination running wild until I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps from the floor above. My heart raced, and I froze, unable to move or even breathe. I strained my ears, hoping it was just the old floorboards settling. But then a chilling voice whispered my name, sending shivers down my spine. "Emily," it hissed as if carried by a malevolent wind. I felt my blood turn to ice as I realized there was something else in the house with me. I crept up the stairs, each creaking step resonating through the empty hallway. The darkness seemed to grow thicker, suffocating me as I made my way to the top. Shadows danced along the walls, and my mind played tricks on me, conjuring up ghostly apparitions that flickered in and out of existence. When I reached the top, the whispers grew louder, surrounding me from all sides. "Emily, come play with us," the voices called, each one more sinister than the last. My palms were clammy, and my breaths came in short, panicked gasps. I fumbled for the light switch, but when the lights flickered on, I saw nothing but empty, dusty rooms staring back at me. But then, from the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of a shadow darting behind the door. My heart leaped into my throat and I stumbled backward, knocking over a chair that had been standing in the hallway. The house seemed to groan in protest as if disturbed by my presence, and the whispers intensified, now mocking my fear, goading me to face the unknown. I mustered the courage to move forward, following the shadow into the room at the end of the hallway. The door swung open, revealing a room draped in darkness. I hesitated at the threshold, my mind racing with terrifying possibilities. But something compelled me to step inside, to confront whatever malevolent force lurked within the darkness. As I ventured further, my foot snagged on something, and I stumbled to the ground. I reached out to steady myself, only to find my hand sinking into a pool of icy liquid. Horror gripped me as I realized the floor was covered in a viscous, crimson substance. The stench of decay filled my nostrils, and I retched, bile rising in my throat. A flicker of movement drew my gaze to the corner of the room. There, in the faint glow of the moonlight seeping through the window, I saw them. Shadowy figures, their eyes gleaming with malice. They swayed in unison, their twisted forms contorting in unnatural ways. The whispers coalesced into a cacophony of sinister laughter, and I knew I was not alone. I scrambled to my feet, my mind clouded with terror. I bolted for the door, desperate to escape the clutches of whatever haunted that accursed place. But as I reached the hallway, the door slammed shut, trapping me in darkness. The whispers grew deafening, their taunts and jeers echoing through the house, driving me to the brink of madness. I slammed my fists against the door, screaming for release, but my efforts were futile. The shadows enveloped me, their icy tendrils probing my mind, unraveling my sanity. I knew then that I was doomed, that I would join the ranks of the tormented spirits trapped within the confines of that ancient house. To this day, no one knows what happened to me on that night. Some say the house devoured my soul, while others believe I still wander its haunted corridors, a lost spirit bound to its malevolent will. But for those who dare to stay alone in that old Victorian house, they say my tormented whispers can still be heard, warning them of the horrors that await those foolish enough to ignore the warnings of the dead.